Hey, Sneak Peekers! I'm Evan.
And I'm Emily.
And we're back from Thanksgiving break with a stuffed episode tonight.
To start out, Allie is here to give her impressions of the first episodes of Nathan Fielder's and Benny Safdie's new comedy, The Curse.
Next, we have the AFF carpet to show you about the film, The Problem with the People, an Irish comedy about two estranged cousins trying to settle their family's differences.
And speaking of carpets, Sydney will host a carpet here in studio to ask our Sneak Peeker tributes about their thoughts on Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Finally, to close the show, Brandon, Aaron, and Mason will sit down and talk about new queer cinema.
Stay tuned to hear our takes on the latest in entertainment.
We'll be right back. I don't know about you, Emily, but as nice as it was to have a break, it's great to be back.
Me too, Evan, and we've got a lot to talk about from the past 2 weeks.
To start, fans of the Scream franchise were shocked when it was announced that last Tuesday, Melissa Barrera was fired for Scream 7. Barrera previously starred in the last 2 entries of the series.
The production studio behind Scream 7, Spyglass, confirmed that Barrera was fired for vocalizing pro-Palestinian sentiment and criticizing the Israeli government's bombardment of Gaza on social media.
Barrera responded with a post on her Instagram stating, "Silence is not an option for me." The following day, news broke down that Barrera's Scream co-star, Jenna Ortega, would also not return in the 7th film.
However, Deadline sources claim that Ortega's departure was unrelated to Barrera's firing and instead a result of scheduling conflicts with Wednesday Season 2. But many others believe that the timing of the announcement, as well as the film's lack of a production schedule, could indicate otherwise.
Without the 2 lead actresses, Spyglass has ordered a complete rewrite of the film and is currently eyeing the return of Neve Campbell and Patrick Dempsey. Campbell, who starred in the first 5 films, previously declined the return of Scream 6 due to inadequate pay.
Additionally, it was announced on the same day as Barrera's firing that actress Susan Sarandon was dropped by her talent agency UTA after attending a protest in support of Palestine. She has not been available for comment since last Tuesday.
In other news, Dave Filoni, the former screenwriter of the Star Wars projects such as Clone Wars, Rebels, and Ahsoka, was officially promoted to the position of Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilms last Monday.
According to Filoni, he will now work more closely with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and Head of Development Carrie Beck to produce new Star Wars films and television series, offering oversight early on in the production process.
Finally, Netflix's new reality series, Squid Game: The Challenge, began releasing last Wednesday. The series aims to recreate the popular Squid Game series into a real competition.
Unfortunately for Netflix, it seems like adapting the deadly challenges into real life might not have been the best idea. Several contestants from the series have sent letters of claim to producers asking for financial compensation for their time on the show.
According to complaints, contestants say that they experienced hypothermia and nerve damages due to the unsafe conditions while filming the famous red light, green light challenge.
Yikes. That sounds like a pretty cursed production. I guess they didn't learn their lesson from the original show.
No kidding. Speaking of curses, Allie is here to give us the first impressions of the new show produced by Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie, The Curse.
Off to you, Allie.
Hey Sneak Peekers, I'm Allie. I don't know about y'all, but I am obsessed with the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Nathan Fielder. I truly believe that I would follow that man into battle, no questions asked, and with the weekly releases of his new show, The Curse, us Nathan girlies are being fed. A24 and Showtime's The Curse follows an eco-conscious, house-flipping husband and wife duo, Asher and Whitney, played by Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone, respectively, as they are trying to get their television show picked up by HGTV. Alongside an eccentric TV producer, Dougie, played by Benny Safdie, the duo encounter many hiccups in their production. From upsetting local communities, wild marriage problems, and even a curse from a little girl, Asher and Whitney continuously have the world against them. Coming from the rather eccentric minds of both Fielder and Safdie, The Curse is nothing short of insanity. As a Fielder fan, I am more than familiar with this dry deadpan style, but The Curse pushes it into a whole new realm. There's even more unnerving presence brought up throughout this new project than found within Nathan For You and even The Rehearsal. Fielder's typically dry performance is elevated by scenes of manipulation and frustration that leave me on the edge of my seat. He is unafraid to go head-to-head with his fellow actors, and he elevates their performances through his unexpected deliveries. His typical monotone performances are benefited by his unexpected range. Beyond Fielder, he is supported by both Stone and Safdie, who give undeniably interesting performances. Stone plays a complicated woman obsessed with karma, the environment, and her own image. She means well, but as she crafts her life to match the desires of HGTV producers, she begins to lose grasp on reality. Stone is complex in her performance and leaves the audiences wonder how her character, Whitney, can just so consistently miss the mark. Her character builds the morally gray air surrounding the show and raises so many questions regarding ethicality in the world of reality television. On the other hand, Safdie's character is downright morally bankrupt. He manipulates what is happening, breaks the trust of our leads, and has a history that is clouded with mistakes. As the series progresses, I will be interested to see where they take his character. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why should I watch a show that Allie consistently has stated makes her uncomfortable? And I say that that's the beauty of it. The Curse is expertly crafted to leave you unnerved and desperately wanting more. While I noted the performances lend a great deal to creating this excruciating air, the filmmakers' methods present The Curse perfectly lend to the tone of the show. The Curse utilizes a droning synth score that is abrupt and disarming, and it leaves every conversation in a different place than it began. I rarely see a score match the tone as well as a show like this one. Beyond the score, I am consistently shaken by the way the camera is used. Aggressively wide shots, slow zooms, and freeze frames that take my breath away. Partnered with many glances that almost break the fourth wall, I am wondering where the story ends and my TV begins. And the best news is we still have 7 episodes left of this season, so you have time to catch up and join me on this absolutely insane ride. Before we send it back to the hosts, I couldn't speak on my love for The Curse without noticing the pure insanity of the Rotten Tomato scores. With the loves of the critics behind it, The Curse sits at a 93% critic score. But even better than that, it seems that Fielder and Safdie are more than successful in making their audience uncomfortable. The Curse currently sits with a 30% audience score. The wide range is certainly indicative of the tone the show sets. And I encourage you all to check it out and decide for yourselves. It's definitely fresh in my mind. That's all from me, Sneak Peekers. If you decide to tune into The Curse, be sure to let us know on our social media page at Sneak Peek TV.
Hey Evan, do you have any travel plans for winter break?
No, I haven't thought about anything yet, but finals is around the corner. When school lets out, I just want to close my computer and enjoy peace and quiet.
Well, if it's peace and quiet you're looking for, you might enjoy watching The Problem with People, a feel-good comedy set in the luscious countryside of Ireland.
Sounds like a great movie to relax with.
Here's Sydney's AFF carpet with the creators of The Problem with People.
Roll the clip.
Hey Sneak Peekers, it's Sydney at the red carpet of The Problem with People at Austin Film Festival. I wanted to start off with, what was your inspiration for the film?
Well, my inspiration came from the script to start off with. So my inspiration from the look of the film was to make Ireland feel like a place that was real and not edge into stereotype. There's lots of sort of movies out there that may be a little bit twee, and I was trying to show an authentic Ireland and do that in a way that sort of embraced the fact that it's not always sunny, that sometimes there's big moody clouds, and that's a romantic thing to show. So that was my inspiration really, was to use Ireland authentically.
I mean, honestly, I was inspired by Paul because he wanted to tell this story set in Ireland, and he's got such a great, funny way of writing. I was inspired by our collaboration. I was inspired by Ireland. I mean, it's such a beautiful country, and we really wanted to tell a story that shined the appropriate, gorgeous light on them.
Any specific films or shows that you looked to when you were thinking about how you wanted to direct the film?
Well, I did a lot of research into Irish movies to start with. People say this is a little bit like a sort of slightly more upbeat Banshees of Inisherin. It's a bit more a sort of laugh. But I looked at a lot of the Irish movies and things like Waking Ned, things like The Commitments, The Field, all of those. I took little bits of just sort of little bits of atmosphere and ambience from those different films and tried to sort of imbue it a little bit in our film.
The reason I made the film was twofold. One, I wanted to make my version of Local Hero. Two, I wanted to go to Ireland. So I got to do all of that. The joy was it lived up to everything I had hoped, and so the people were just joyful and sweet. And it's a very, the vibe on the set shows on the film. I mean, we were having a great time, and it's a comedy, and it's a really feel-good comedy. And it's about two idiots who sort of go at each other, but they're on there trying to be better than they are.
So what are you hoping that viewers take away from the film when they watch the movie?
That's a really good question too. The movie is about why can't we get along? We're all just people. Especially now more than ever, the world feels so fractured. And, I have young children, and I think about what kind of world are they going to be living in? But we're all just people. So if everybody was maybe a little kinder, a little more sensitive, a little nicer to each other, maybe, we're not going to heal everything, but we could heal one little thing. That's what I hope people think about, and I hope they laugh.
When people watch my film, I'd like them to come out with a real sense of feel good. It's about sort of it's kind of like how people go head to head. It's the problem with people, and problems all around the world are basically down to people. And the way to resolve that is through talking, and people can resolve those problems. So I want to come away and maybe just reflect on their own lives, thinking, is there a family member that I've fallen out with? Is this necessary? Should I go and sew it up? And you probably should.
Do you have any specific memories from the set that you...
Yeah, well, every day was joyful. My younger son, my whole family was with me, and my younger son was a PA on the show. So that was a nice thing, getting to work with him. And, I had never seen him work. And I went, oh, you're really a great worker. I wouldn't know that from watching you at home. That was a personal victory. And on the set, we all had a good time. You always hear movies like there were fights and there was problems. Like, no, we didn't have any of that. We just had a great time going to work. And our director, Chris Cottom, is a very joyful, funny guy. And it just, we all left kind of sad to be going home.
Finally, as film students, we want to know if you have any advice for future filmmakers.
As film students, do I have any future advice? Well, I wasn't a film student, I was an English major, and my advice is to persevere and don't be an arsehole.
Number one, it's never been easier to jump in and make a movie, so make shorts, don't wait, make sure you do things. And number two, keep going. I think so many people in any part of the creative arts hit a little bit of a roadblock and say, well, this is too hard, or it takes too long, or it's not where I wanted it to be. But suddenly, if you get through the 87 drafts or whatever we did, it's not far off, you wind up here with a movie. So do it and keep going, and the world needs your voices more than ever.
I love quiet and cozy movies, but a good spectacle sure is fun too.
I have to agree. Let's raise these stakes a little and hand it over to Sydney.
She's here to interview our sneak peekers on the latest entry of Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Take it away, Sydney.
Hey Sneak Peekers! I'm Sydney Flickerman, and today I am hosting the 10th annual Hunger Games, and I'm going to be talking to your favorite tributes. But first, I wanted to bring in my friend Anna from the Capitol. Please come on in. Woo! Okay, Anna. Ooh, yes. Okay, Capitol look. All right, let's get into it. So,
Hello.
Anna.
Hello.
I know you're a Snow, so I'm very happy that you felt...
Snow's granddaughter.
Yes. I'm so happy that you decided to join us today.
Of course.
Yes. So my first question is, what did you think of the film?
The film was a beautiful portrait of my then young grandfather in his youth that I live in now. I am a youth. But he is now old, as this is the future Hunger Games. But that was his origin story, everyone. Please don't hate me for having the Snow last name. I am an icon.
No, and the Snow family will always be some of my favorite. Now,
Thank you.
I must ask you, as a Snow, are you a President Snow sympathizer?
I have to be. That is actually my grandfather. So.
Well, luckily, I am too. All right, thank you for joining us, Anna. Woo! Now, let's meet those tributes. Straight from District 1, we are bringing out Sophia. Hi, how was the journey from District 1?
Very quick, 'cause it's right there.
Beautiful. So glad to hear it. Don't tell anyone, but District 1 is my favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was a really good film, but I think District 1 should have won the games, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good take. Now, I know that you're a reader. You love books. How did it compare to the book?
So, TBH, I read it like freshman year of college, so I don't remember much of it, but I do think it was a good adaptation from what I remember.
Yeah.
Especially the end scene, but I don't want to spoil anything.
True. We're going to get into that end scene, so thank you so much, Sophia.
Bye.
All right. Now, we're going to head on over to District 4 with Allie. Come on out, girl. Now, my favorite interview ever has been Finnick, so I hope this adds up. But first, give me your thoughts on the movie.
I liked it. I haven't read the book, so I went in completely blind. I tried my best to avoid spoilers, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was really fun, and I was kind of terrified the entire time. But that was fun.
No, I totally get that. It had me on the edge of my seat. Now, you're a theories girl. You love a good Easter egg.
I do.
What do you think has happened with Tigress between this movie till the next time that we see her with Katniss?
My friend in District 1 has a great idea that I actually agree with. I think that she changed her appearance because she just wanted to be so far removed from Snow that's why she kept changing her appearance, and that's why we see her like she is later on.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think that's I'm not too sure like when she's like in the games and stuff because she's a stylist, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know that part, but I think she still tried to distance herself as best as she could.
Ooh, I like that.
Thanks.
I like that. Now, another theory I know you've thought a lot about. What happened to Lucy Gray?
I've been dying to talk about it. I think she lived, and I think she found District 13 is what I hope, and then she was able to live a happy life. And we know she like haunts Snow, just her memory. So I mean, he'll never get away from her. But I think she went to District 13. But I also like that really unhinged theory on TikTok that she might be that lady who gave the pin to Katniss in I think that's the first movie, and the book. But I also want to believe that she might have sold the Mockingjay pin to Katniss just for. There's no proof, but I don't know.
I like it. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Allie. Now, speaking of District 13, I'm going to bring out our next tribute, Sasha. Come on out.
Hi.
Alrighty, I have so much to talk with you about, especially coming from District 13. This is not something we commonly get to see. What were your thoughts on the film?
Yeah, the film, it was definitely S tier. My top 5 for the year. Don't know where it's going to be on the 5, but it's there. It was worth it. I loved it.
Yes, could not agree more. Now, as someone from District 13, and we just heard someone's theory that Lucy Gray is in that district, what's your thought? What happened to Lucy Gray?
I think she definitely survived. Had to be. I can't see it any other way. I'm like in District 13, and it's somewhere, yeah. But I want to believe in my heart, that she like survived. Situationships, they're ugly. It's downright terrible. Even like President Snow, God bless his soul, not really, but like it can happen to anyone. Lucy, I've been through that before too, and it like sucked. And I like to believe. I'm a believer.
I love that. Love is so powerful. I could not agree more. Thank you so much, Sasha.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have for you, sneak peekers. Keep watching for the 10th annual Hunger Games, or we'll send it back to the host. Thank you.
Hey, sneak peekers! I'm Mason.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Brandon. And today we are going to talk about some of the new contributions to the new queer cinema movement, which started, I think, in the 90s, right?
About,
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
about. Loosely.
Yeah, so we're going to cover contributions that were made to that movement then, continuations now, bridging the gap.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're discussing this because one of the big directors of the movement, Todd Haynes, has a new movie releasing, I believe, on streaming on December 1st. And so in anticipation of that release, we thought, why not talk about some of our favorite new queer cinema movies? So I think first, to start off with a movie we can all discuss, Greg Araki's Nowhere.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
Because you guys just saw the restored version, right?
Yeah. I wasn't aware there was a non-restored version, I guess.
It looks so much better now, I imagine. I think they did the same for Totally Freaked Up and the Doom Generation.
Yeah, Doom Generation. Yeah, I know it's not just that there's a restored version, but that the common version of Fine was actually censored and had a lot of scenes cut out. I would be interested in seeing the director's cut with the full scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kind of keeping it in the Greg area. I don't know if y'all have seen Mysterious Skin.
Oh, definitely.
But I think that also has a very big place on this list of...
Because that's the most critically acclaimed movie, I would say, that came out of new queer cinema. And honestly, that one and The Living End are probably tied for my favorite from Greg. What about you guys?
Yeah. For me, I think I'd also have to go with The Living End.
It's just so
because
good.
It's so good. It's just two gay guys blowing up their lives and their careers. Just
cross-country road trip on the run with nowhere to go. It's magical.
Yeah.
It's the dream.
No, well, what about favorites outside of Greg? Any other contributors, major players y'all think we should mention?
The Watermelon Woman is a film by Cheryl Dunye, and it was also the first feature-length movie directed by an out Black lesbian, and it's freaking awesome. It's like a mockumentary, but she puts her own spin on it, so it's called a Dunye-mentary. It's her own genre, and it's semi-autobiographical. She wants to be a filmmaker, works in a video store. It's fantastic. The music, the vibes, as I'm sure you could guess, are amazing.
Yeah. No, I've seen clips of it for class, and it looks really interesting.
It's so good.
I really need to watch it, but yeah. I guess for another director, mentioned earlier, Todd Haynes himself. I would say I just recently watched Safe, which absolutely blew me away. A crazy movie. Really interesting, kind of oddly relevant to COVID, I guess.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
No,
but it's Carol season, so we should all be watching Carol.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Carol rewatch definitely.
Yes.
And I do want to watch the Velvet Underground doc. I need to do that.
If anyone's looking for an adaptation of a stage play, The Laramie Project is a really good film. Very strong performances. You were talking about with changing up documentary form, they do a lot of community interviews,
cool.
interesting formal things. The Laramie Project. Very fun.
Interesting. But yeah, and then have either of you seen Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story?
No.
I've heard of it.
It's Todd Haynes's either his first film or it was literally a project he made while a film student. But it's crazy. It's retells Karen Carpenter's story and her battle with anorexia. But it's made completely using Barbie dolls.
Really?
Which is kind of
is it,
crazy.
Stop motion?
it's not even stop motion. It's like he's like
That's
moving the
wild.
dolls
Holding
around.
it?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
he's a visionary.
No,
so
it's
we'll have
so
to keep an
it's
eye
actually
out,
like
yeah,
so good.
for whatever is coming up next with him.
But yeah, I think that'll have to be it from us for tonight. But
Let us know your thoughts on May December when it comes out at
Yeah.
Sneak Peek TV.
So true.
Bye,
Tune
Sneak
in next
Peekers.
week.
Tune in next week.
Bye.